Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome to Great Habits with Ngozi. I am your personal guide on the journey of growth. Just give me a minute. I don't know what happened to my glasses just suddenly. So, welcome. Good afternoon. How are you? How's your day going? Good morning if it's morning where you are, and good evening if it's evening where you are. As you join me, please do let me know where you're joining me from this wonderful afternoon. Let me always do my quick sound check to be sure that I am being heard. Because sometimes I've seen that I'll be talking and nobody is hearing what I'm saying. So, all right. So at least I'm sure that I'm being heard. So good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you're joining me from this wonderful day. Please do let me know where you're joining me from once you connect. I love hearing from you. I love knowing where you're joining me from because it is important to me to know who joins me and to know where they're joining me from. So, welcome once again to Growth Habits with Ngozi. Remember that I am your personal guide on this journey of growth. We have been on this journey for a while, and it's been such a privilege, such an honor to share this journey with each and every one of you. Um, when I started, it was like, will it happen? Will it not happen? I wasn't sure, and and I didn't. Welcome, Lola. Lola, it's nice to have you with me this afternoon. I'm glad you joined me. Welcome. So when we started this whole journey, it was like, will it work? Won't it work? I was not very sure. I was not very confident. I don't know why my glasses are fogging up this afternoon. I wasn't very sure. I wasn't very confident, but I just decided to go on the journey. Let's see where it leads us. And here we are in session 74. 74. Can you believe that? Session 74 is where we are now. And we started this new series that I've really been so excited about, and it's called Conversations. Um, when you hear me, you think it's been a while anyway. We've been on this particular conversation for long now. I'm even wondering whether we should end it and start another conversation. But as we go, more ideas come to mind and I just continue with it. So we've been on this series called Conversations. And the idea is to just have the discussion on different topics, different things. And to start it off, I just felt we should start off with leadership, having conversations on leadership. What is leadership all about? What are the different aspects of leadership? Because, sometimes we think that maybe leadership is kept for a select few, a select people. It's actually not. Everyone can lead and should lead from wherever you are. Don't wait until you're made the manager. Don't wait until you're the head of a department or something. Lead where you are. Lead from where you are. From that position where you are right now, you can and should lead from that position. So that was really the what made me start this particular series on leadership. That's why I decided to start these conversations by talking about leadership. Okay, so um, we started off with I think it was session 66. That was the first session in this particular series. I believe it was 66, and we started with just a basic what is leadership, what does it mean, and we agree that is the act of guiding a team or some people or individuals, guiding them to achieve a certain goal or a certain aim. Most times, um, the goal or the aim is known by the leader, and he now is charged with passing that across to those that he's leading. He's charged with being able to communicate that goal and that aim to those that he's leading, and then motivating them to go along with him to achieve that goal or that aim. So that is what leadership is all about. And we talked about this on the first session on these conversations that we have been having. We talked about the qualities of an effective leader, how to become an effective leader, and all those things. Then, in the next session, we talked about leadership styles, the types of ways that you can lead people. And we mentioned the 11 leadership styles. I don't think I will go over each and every one of them, but we had to break it into two sessions because there were 11. Yeah, so we broke the leadership styles into two sessions. And we talked about the different leadership styles: bureaucratic, democratic, pace setting, visionary, situational, and we talked about that. And we agreed, kind of like in conclusion, that there is no one leadership style that is the best. There's really no one that is the best. They all have their good aspects, they all have their disadvantages. So there's no one that is the best. The idea is to study the situation and know the style that will fit in that situation. And we also said that it's even possible to apply two or three styles at the same time based on the situation that is existing, based on the group that you are leading at that point in time. So that was our session 68 and 69 when we talked about leaderships. A bit 60 anyway. 67 and 68. So after that, we talked about communication skills in leadership. And we said that effective communication is actually key because remember, the vision, the goal is yours, and you're trying to get a set of people to understand it and to go along with you to achieve those goals, to achieve that vision. So it is important and is very key in leadership to be able to communicate, to be able to get across that thing that you want people to know. And we said that one of the important aspects of communication for a leader is active listening. It's, when we talked about it, it looked like you're talking about communication, which we usually attribute to saying things, and then you're talking about listening. But truly, if you don't listen actively, if you don't listen to understand, if you don't listen with empathy, it will be difficult to communicate to people because then you don't really know the people you are communicating to. Yeah, so that is one of the best or the benefits of active listening in communication. This is one of the ways that it helps you in communicating because you understand who you're talking to, you understand how they hear, how they comprehend, and all that. So, active listening. Then we talked about nonverbal communication. It's not just what you say, it's also how you say it, your body language, and also being able to understand people's body language, not just your own, but the people you're communicating to. We talked about simplicity and clarity, transparency in communication. You don't need to, complicate the communication. Be as simple and straightforward as possible. There is no need trying to confuse people. It's better that you get them to understand what you're saying. All right. So our next session we talked about emotional intelligence in leadership, and emotional intelligence is your ability to understand and manage your emotions. Now, in the aspect of leadership, we now realize that it's not just to understand and manage your emotions, but being able to recognize and then influence the emotions of others. See, that is what emotional intelligence in leadership deals with. You have to be able to not just understand your own emotions, manage your own emotions, but you also now have to recognize the emotions in those that you are leading and then try to influence their emotions because you need them to come along on a journey with you. If you're not able to influence them in a way, it will be difficult to get them to come along with you. We talked about the aspects or the components of emotional intelligence as it relates to leadership. We talked about self-awareness, that is, know yourself, understand your feelings, understand your emotions, know your strengths, know your weaknesses. We talked about self-management. Now that you've understood yourself, understood your emotions, how do you control them? How do you manage your emotions? More especially in stressful situations, how do you manage your emotions? Then we talked about social awareness, as being aware of other people's emotions, being aware of the dynamics that come into play within maybe the organization that you work with, or within that group that you're trying to lead. That is social awareness. And then we talked about relationship management, and that is just your ability to influence, to coach, to mentor others, and to help them maybe resolve conflicts and things like that. There are other aspects of emotional intelligence, but as regards to leadership, these four are the core. If you can get these four, if you can master these four, then you would be able to lead with emotional intelligence. Our next session, we talked about decision making in leadership. And we know that decision making is just your ability to assess a situation, then determine how do I move forward. And one of the things, just 1 minute, one of the things that we talked about, uh, sorry, I need to look at something because it seems my laptop is trying to misbehave, but I will not accept that it should misbehave. So when we talked about decision making, we talked about your ability to identify alternatives, your ability to what else did we talk about that day? Yes, the ability to gather information, your ability to identify alternatives. These were some of the things that you needed to do in order to make effective, I don't want to say good decisions. I'm looking for another word. I don't want to say good decisions, but decisions that achieve the aim that they are meant to achieve. So you have to, of course, know what is the problem. What are you trying to decide on? What do you need to make a decision about? And no need jumping into problem solving mode immediately. Truly understand the problem, truly understand the situation that you're trying to deal with. Then you can identify, the alternatives. You can look for how else this can be done. Look for solutions, and then look for how else this can be done. Okay, that was when we talked about decision making. I really don't know what's happening to my laptop, but it's okay. Okay, all right. So that was that. Our next session was conflict resolution. Conflict resolution in decision in leadership. And of course, conflict resolution. There is a conflict, you need to resolve it. That is rare that you'll be in a situation where there's no conflict. Is rare because conflict is actually part of growth. There needs to be that pushback somehow. There needs to be that maybe misunderstanding in quotes. It must exist because you're dealing with different kinds of people. You're dealing with people that came from different backgrounds. You're dealing with people that have different ways, different understanding of things. So conflict would probably always exist. But what sets you apart as a leader is your ability to understand how to deal with conflict, your ability to just assess that situation and know what needs to be done. Eka Briggs, welcome. I'm glad you joined me this afternoon. I just saw your notification. Thank you for joining me. Please do let me know where you're joining me from this beautiful afternoon. So we said conflict resolution helps you handle different types of conflict and be able to resolve it, because it's not just oh, there's a conflict, oh, I understand what is happening. You need to be able to resolve it, and there needs to be a win-win resolution. That was one of the things we mentioned, and that was last week. Your ability to resolve conflicts and have a win-win is a major plus for a leader. And it's an essential, it's not even just a plus, it's essential that you resolve conflicts and that it comes out to be a win-win. No one should come out of any conflict resolution exercise feeling cheated. No, then you have not truly resolved the conflict. And this does not mean that you will not point out people's errors, that you will not correct people, but in correcting, you don't just correct like one party and leave the other. No, you have to be able to point out to both parties what they did wrong, what they could do better, so that everyone comes out feeling they won. That helps in making people um how do I want to put this now, if I'm in a situation where I'm having an issue with someone and you come in and you resolve it and I come out of that situation feeling that I won, one, I will trust you more, because I will feel that you addressed my issues, you addressed my concerns. This is one thing you have to ensure you do. Make sure you address people's concerns while doing the conflict resolution. And then not only will I come out feeling you addressed my concern, I will feel heard and seen, because you actually dealt with the issues. You didn't just apportion blames. Okay, so that is the important thing about conflict resolution. Now we come to today's discussion, today's conversation, which is on team building skills in leadership. Of course, this is an essential because you're leading a team. You can't lead yourself only. You can lead yourself, which is a different topic altogether. But as a leader, you're leading teams, you're leading people, you're leading individuals, most probably not just one. So there is a need to be able to build teams. You have to be able to build teams. And team building is actually an ongoing process. It's not something you do once and you forget about it. If you treat it as a one-off, your team along the line will fall apart. Definitely. So it's an ongoing process. That's one thing we need to understand. And it's a process that helps this group of people, this set of individuals, become one unit, one cohesive, I hope that's the English unit. There's one unit that's together, that's bound together. That is what team building skills are all about. Being able to bring all these different peoples with their different characteristics, with their different personalities, being able to bring them together in a way that they operate as one, in a way that if I talk to one member of your team and they say something, the other member of the team probably will say the same thing as relates to the work now, as relates to whatever you're trying to achieve as a team, not as relates maybe to their feelings. No. So it's being able to manage all those different personalities, manage all those different individuals, and bring them to a place where they operate as one, as much as that is possible. That is team building. And you will know that you have built a team when the members of your team are able to share their expectations, they are able to share their minds, they're able to trust the team, trust you as the leader, and be able to be open. If if you have a team and the members of the team are not able to be open, are not able to be free to maybe make comments, are not able to be free to say their minds, you know that team will not hold together for long. That team will not hold together for long. It's doomed basically to have a breakdown somewhere along the line. So as the leader, you have to be able to have the skills that will bring people together, that will cause them to unite maybe around around the goal that that team is trying to achieve. So you have to be able to bring them to a place where they kind of drop their own personal agendas, because it is important that as a team, personal agendas are not put before the team agenda. Okay, so that is what makes for good team building skills in a leader. Your ability to do that, your ability to get people to do more and not feel it. So that's the thing about building a team. When you're able to get people to come together and do more and yet not feel like they're doing more, then you have built a team, because everybody is feeding off of the other person's energy, and everyone is working together towards that one goal or that one purpose. Everyone is working together. They won't feel that they are doing more. They will not. They will look at it that, I mean, this is what has to be done. But if you have not melded that team properly, then there will be friction, and there will be the feeling of I'm doing too much. So that is one of the key things um, in team building. Very, very important to understand and to keep in mind when you're trying to build a team, is that you have to get diverse people, people from diverse backgrounds with diverse personalities to work together. You have to get these people to a place where they trust and support each other. They trust and support you as their leader, and they trust and support each other. That is even how the team will be able to make any good progress. Because if they trust only you and they don't trust each other, we know there's a problem again. So it also means that you have created an environment where people feel comfortable working together. I've seen teams where everybody is like trying to be the superstar. And what generally happens is that such teams, one, they don't last. They don't last because one person is just trying to be the superstar and the others are just watching. They are just, okay, let him do the work since, he knows everything. Once you have that kind of team, it doesn't last, truly. It doesn't, because there's no cohesion. Before you know it, it begins to fall apart at the seams. Before you know it, there begins to be divisions. Before you know it, there begins to be people, clustering together, forming, their own sub teams in your team. No, you don't need that. You don't need that as a leader. You need to work and ensure that the climate in your team is one of collaboration, is one of trust. One of the things you need to ensure as a leader is that no one in your team, even if you have a favorite, it's just like parents. Parents, we have children, and naturally, you would navigate more to one child. Maybe the child is just too good or has some qualities that you as a person appreciate. And naturally, you would tend to navigate towards that child that has, the qualities that, you like. But you can't do that. As a parent, you can never show that this is my favorite child. Yes, sometimes it's still picked up. Sometimes it's still picked up, but you can't allow yourself to show it. You shouldn't make the other children feel they are not as loved as. No. The same holds for a team. For a team to be an effective team, no team member should be above the others. There shouldn't be a team member that has your ears and the others don't. Shouldn't be a team member that can reach you at any time and the others can't. Mm-mm. No, you're going to create big problems and issues in your team when there is a member that is the superstar, that everybody knows that this person has your ear. Your team will definitely at a point fall apart. That is one thing. And in building a team, you have to ensure that the objectives are known. Everyone on the team knows the objective, knows the aim, knows the goal. It can be that maybe one or two people know it. No, everybody needs to really know the direction the team is heading. Everyone needs to understand it. And it's part of your um, work as the leader. This is part of communication skills now coming into play. Your ability to communicate that goal properly in a way that everyone understands. Remember, we talked about clarity and simplicity in communicating. This comes into play in building a team. When you're able to communicate the goals, the objectives, and all that clearly, and possibly from the beginning, it makes for a better team. People are more able to know what is expected of them. They know the expectations and they work towards it. And now it's not just to maybe at the beginning you just tell everybody. You have to keep repeating those aims. You have to keep repeating that objective. You have to keep repeating that purpose. You have to keep repeating that goal so that it becomes a part of every member of the team. If it's just something that they are told when they come, and after that, maybe they hardly hear it again, they don't get to imbibe what that objective is. So it needs to be made clear. The objectives, the goal of the team needs to be made clear to everyone. To everyone. And there has to be an understanding of it, not just that it's made clear. They have to understand, you have to ensure that every member of your team understands where you're going. It's difficult to embark on a journey if you don't know where you're heading. You have to ensure that every member of the team understands where this team is heading, understands where this team is going. Okay, so in building a team that works, an effective team, definitely remember that the aim is to build relationships, is to build trust, is to build loyalty. Because this is what you need for that team to achieve anything. Remember, relationship, trust, loyalty. Very important. And as you have this in mind, you don't also want to build fear. This year, let me talk about this a little bit. This is one area that a lot of leaders miss it. We build fear in those that we lead, and we think um, that makes us, the boss. If I come in, they should know the boss has come in. No, you have to be able to get people to do things for you without feeling that they are doing things for you. You have to be able to get people to the point where they are ready to work for you without really thinking about it as work. They have to come along with you on the journey. They have to come along with you, not that you're forcing them, not that they're afraid of what will happen if they don't come along. They have to come along willingly. So your aim is to build relationship, to build trust, to build loyalty into these individuals that form a part of your team, rather than building fear, rather than exerting your power or your position. If people, I know one of the fears that leaders have is that maybe when people come in the midst of your team, and you're one of these very laid back leaders, they won't know who is the leader, they won't know who are the followers. If if you truly build your team properly, people will know who is the leader, they will know who are the followers. They will know, because you would have gotten your team members to a point where they are loyal to you, where they trust you. And loyalty shows. It shows. It's difficult to hide or cover loyalty. So loyalty shows. So you don't have to worry about, oh, people will not know. They will know because loyalty shows. When people are loyal to their leader, it shows. You will know where you will know where their loyalties lie. So the idea of, if I'm not, if I'm not being the strong leader, if I'm not being, if they don't fear me, they will no. It doesn't. It doesn't follow. It doesn't follow. People should follow you of their own accord. Now, the trick there is that they think they're following you of their own accord, but they are following you because you have influenced them. You have influenced their perception. You have influenced their mind somehow. So they are following you, thinking is fully of their own accord, but it's from your influence. It's because you have influenced them in one way or the other. They are now following. So ensure that in building teams, ensure that relationships of trust and loyalty are maintained, because they will see your team, or they will see your team just, it almost looks like they're just following you sheepishly, but they are not. It's not sheepishly. They just have trust for whatever you say or do, and they are loyal to you. Okay, so some of the things that we need to consider when building effective teams is that I'm looking for the right word, but you need to ensure that in building a team that you establish relationship with each team member. You must be able to establish relationship with each team member. You have to consider their ideas as valuable. You have to try and understand how to deal with each of them as an individual and as a team. So, excuse me, you need to establish a relationship with your team, each person. Each person. Imagine where you're leading a team and you know all your team members' wives or spouses' names, you know their children's names, and you ask of the children by name. Just imagine that. Now, me itself, this particular knowing names has always been an issue for me. So I wind up not knowing people's names. But even if I don't know the name of your spouse, I know what your spouse does. Something, I must establish some kind of relationship such that you know that I'm not just asking generally, how is your wife? Even if I generally ask, how is your wife? I should know that she's in business and not working. So I should be able to ask, how is your wife's business? Even if I can't remember the name. But I do have to make the attempt as the leader to know the names of the spouses, for example, of those that I'm leading, because I need to establish a relationship with each one. Not easy, but doable. So that is the first rule of team building, honestly. Establish a team. Establish a relationship with each member of your team. The relationship will not be the same, bear that in mind, but do establish a relationship with every member of your team. Try and know them beyond just the work environment. Try and know them beyond just that team environment. Know a little bit more about them and be able to relate to them on a personal level. Okay, then going off of this, you have to also realize that each team member has ideas. The ideas are valuable. You might not use them, but they're valuable. See, this is like the catch. Is it catch 22? They call it, of being an effective leader and being able to build an effective team. is the ability to make each person feel they are valuable, even if you don't use their ideas, even if you don't um, take in whole whatever they bring on board, but they need to have the feeling that, yes, this idea was even considered. You don't um, you don't discountenance anybody's idea in your team. In your team, you don't discountenance any idea. Like I said, you might not use the idea, but at least you would have listened to it. You would have heard them out. You would have made them feel that, okay, you are even considering this idea. And actually do consider it, give it a thought. And when you will not go further with the idea, do let the person know. I mean, no, there's no need keeping the shroud of secrecy in some things. To tell people, you know, um, for the moment, I've looked at this your idea. Then mention aspects of it so that they will know that you truly looked at it. Don't tell people I considered your idea when you didn't. So, oh, I looked at this proposal you brought, good idea. You had some excellent points in there. But currently, this are the reasons why we cannot go along with it. But I will keep it because I foresee something in the future that might, we might need these ideas. So make people understand that the ideas are valuable. Even if you don't use the ideas, they are still valuable because truly they could be useful tomorrow. But if you throw them away from the beginning, when you do need them, they're not there. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Um, then this is where emotional intelligence comes in again. As you're dealing with a team, yes, each person you're telling them, oh, your ideas are valuable, accepting that the ideas are valuable, but also consider people's unspoken feelings. Building a team is like, I don't even know what to compare it to now because it's not just like marriage, it's also marriage, having children, that whole relationship that happens. Ensure that you understand the unspoken feelings of your team members. This is why you need emotional intelligence. This is why you need it as a leader. It will help you know how to deal with each of your team members. Remember, you're supposed to establish a relationship with each of your team members. Emotional intelligence will help you do that. We've talked about communication. Ensure that you communicate clearly so that people understand what you're saying and know your expectations. This aspect of knowing your expectations of them is very, very important. Because sometimes we assume people understand what we expect. Maybe because you've passed across some instructions, you assume they understand. Some people have not understood you. And in order to build a team that is effective and that will last, you need to ensure that you're communicating clearly and that you're being understood. Otherwise, you will have people working at odds and you won't realize that they're working at odds. Okay, so ensure that you're communicating clearly um, and that you're being understood, not just that you're communicating clearly, but that you're being understood. Encourage your team members to share information. Encourage them to feel comfortable enough to share information without feeling that their ideas will be thrown away. Remember we talked about this first. So encourage team members to share information. Delegate some problem-solving tasks to your team members. You can't be the know-all, end-all in the team as the leader. You can't be. So there are some things, even if this one, I know this one, delegate it to one of your team members. It's even better that you delegate the ones you know to them than the ones that you're, struggling with. Delegate it to them. Let them solve that problem and allow them to solve it, not the one that you would delegate to them and then you're sitting on top of the person's head. No. Or you're right, over their shoulders, watching their every move. No. Delegate some problem solving tasks to your team members and allow them to do it. Allow them to do it. Eunice Chinwe, welcome. I'm glad you joined me this afternoon. Oh, Coach Ify, thank you for joining me. You are welcome. You're welcome. So we are talking about team building skills today. And we've said quite a lot. And I was talking about encouraging or delegating some problem solving tasks to members of your team, because this will help build the team. One, you're teaching them. If you're a leader and you're leading a team and you're the only one in that team that knows how to do things, you're failed. Truly, you have failed. You need to have in your team potential leaders that could take over if you're not there. If where did I hear this? And I'm trying to remember. But anyway, if for any reason you're not around and your team is not able to function, you have failed. You truly have. So ensure that you are raising leaders in your team. This is how to build an effective and a strong team. So delegate some problem solving tasks. Don't do everything by yourself. It's not every problem you must solve yourself. Allow them to solve some and truly allow them to solve it. Let them bring up the solutions. Let them do everything. Don't try and micromanage the whole process. Allow your members, your team members, to try and solve some problems. It will build up their own leadership abilities, and it will allow their creative spark to come out, because you're giving them the opportunity to figure it out. It will cause their creative spark to come out, definitely. um okay, yes. In building an effective team, you need to build consensus. Now, this does not mean that there are no rules. This does not mean that there are no expectations, there's no guidelines, there are no goals, but there has to be consensus to an extent. You have to be able to arrive at decisions together as a team. This does not take away your veto power. You're still the leader. You can say, okay, see this one, maybe we'll not go this direction. You're still the leader. But that feeling of, oh, we arrived at this together, will cause your team members. Remember, we said you need to build loyalty and trust. It will cause them to be loyal to you in a way that you can't even imagine, such that I don't want to say they'll take a bullet for you, but you understand what I'm saying. You understand what I'm saying. It is possible to have a team that would almost do anything for you. But to get that team, you have to build some consensus. You have to one, build a relationship with each one. You have to engender trust, and then let the decisions that you arrive at as a team be arrived at together. Let it not be that you are just telling them this is the next thing we are going to do. Even if, it's possible to, I've made up my mind, this is what I want to do as the leader. I've made up my mind. It's still possible for me to guide my team to arrive at that same solution or that same end point. But in guiding them to arrive there, everybody feels part of this discussion. Everybody feels part of the solution. It's not the boss said. So try and encourage consensus in your teams. It will help build that trust that you're looking for, that loyalty that you're looking for. It will come up there because You have built consensus. You've allowed each person to be part of the solution. You've allowed each person to be part of the planning, to be part of the actions, to be part of the whole process. It wasn't just you. Or in fact, it should never really be just you. When you do, I'm the boss, you actually are collecting more stress for yourself. You're adding more on top of what you already have. So spread it out, delegate some of these things, and allow them to be free to do what needs to be done. In doing this, please don't forget to lay down the rules first. Don't forget to lay down the rules first. Everybody should also know, even as you're giving room for creativity, even as you're giving room for people to express themselves, even as you're giving room for people to, bring out their creative spark, the basic ground rules must be laid out. There are some absolutes that should be known by everyone. There are some lines that everybody should know that these are the boundaries from the onset. These are the boundaries. We don't cross here. We don't go in this direction. The ground rules must be known. It's not the one that the ground rules are in your head. I've seen situations where someone that's leading people felt or thought that they had passed across the ground rules, but only them knew the ground rules. Nobody else knew it. The members of the team did not understand the ground rules because as I spoke to each one of the team members, I realized that because the person had already given me the ground rules, the leader of the team had given me, the standards, the norm, the expectations of the team. And based on that, I now had discussions with each of the members of the team, just general discussions now and they didn't have the same understanding that their leader had of the expectations. So ensure that these ground rules that you're establishing, these norms, these standards, these expectations, these boundaries, make sure they are known. Ensure. If I ask people their understanding of the rules, okay, I might have a comment or is it a question? Okay, how do you deal with a team leader who complains that one is not creative enough? But anytime one does this, one receives so much correction. The next the next time one should be creative, one thinks it is better just to ask her exactly what she wants. These corrections are just individual preferences. See, this is actually why it's important that you make sure that every member of your team knows where we are going. They know the direction the team is going. Make sure that every person understands. You need to communicate the team values, the team goals, the team expectations, the team performance. You need to communicate it effectively first. If you have not communicated these things effectively, you can't expect people to, follow them. That's one. Then two, in a situation where someone, I think I said it in the beginning, yes, that every person's idea is important and has to be treated as that. Don't treat people as if the ideas are not relevant. Even the idea that looks like is not very, still I take it first and then fine tune it. Okay. So there are leaders, I've seen it, where leaders, they say, oh, my team, they're not creative. Oh, my team, they don't show initiative. And when they do show the initiative, you knock them down. You see, this is why it's also important to want to know each of your team members personally so that you can even understand what makes them tick. And then um, with this understanding, of each of your team members, it becomes just a little bit easier to deal with them. So like I was saying, I've seen situations where, yes, the person is trying to show initiative, but the team leader just seems to always knock them down. Now, in that situation, you're not truly the leader. You are not leading anyone. If you can't allow people to express their creativity, if you're not welcoming of people's creative inputs, don't ask for it. Don't ask for it. Um, Generally, I tell people who are maybe the people who are being led, who come into contact with this kind of leaders, still give your ideas. Now, what I do in situations where I think my ideas are not being taken is the one I make sure those ideas are in writing. I ensure that it is in writing. I don't give those ideas or those contributions orally anymore. Once I see that this person is not too welcoming of um, ideas, not too welcoming of anything different from what they have made up their mind to do, I ensure I don't ever stop giving my own input. I actually don't. But I ensure that it's in writing so that for posterity's sake, it is there that I suggested this, that I said this. When you come across such leaders, it's actually quite difficult to deal with them because they know what they want. They are not ready to change. They are not ready to suddenly begin to listen to your input. They are not. So reduce the inputs, yes. Honestly, have it in writing. Don't just give them ideas from your mouth orally. Put it down so that posterity will see that you suggested this thing. I was giving an example of myself. I do not, once I see that you're not welcoming of ideas, you claim to, oh, please be show initiative. Then when I show the initiative, you knock it down right from the beginning. One, I ensure that whatever I'm suggesting to you is in writing. I will not say anything to you with mouth only. Even if I've spoken it to you, as I'm going back to my office, I'm putting across an email saying, this is what we discussed. I remember one of my bosses, I used to, when he tells me, Ngozi, do this, as I'm going back to my office, I send him a text message. Please come, or an email, depending. Please, I confirm that you said. He would get upset at me. He would get angry. Are you daft? But what I was doing was making sure that I'm putting into writing the things that we have discussed. It helped me much later. A situation came up where, some questions were asked, but there's a record. There's a record. So that is usually what I do, and that's what I advise people to do. If he says personally, I keep giving my ideas and also run it by my colleagues before I send it to this kind of leader. Yes. Don't say because they are not welcoming, I will not give again. No. No, you didn't help yourself by doing that. So keep on suggesting. They are knocking it down. Still come up with another idea. Go ahead and put it. Like if you say you can run it by someone else, so that another person, you have another witness to the fact that you came up with this idea. And like I said, put it in writing. Ensure that it is in writing somewhere, so that this is known that this person came up with this idea. Posterity will favor you for sure. Somewhere in the future, it will be seen and known that, oh, this person said so, so, and so, and it was not considered. That has been my way of dealing with such leaders. Me and you will not go and be having issue because I suggested and you didn't take it. Then I say I will not suggest again. No, I will keep suggesting. If I have idea, I will still bring it up. But I make sure I put it in writing so that you can't deny me tomorrow. Or you want to steal my idea. It is clear in writing that this is my idea. Okay. Because another thing that happens with some of those such leaders is that they knock down your idea, but they take it later. They just tweak it a little and make it their own and then present it as their own, yet it was yours. So, but when you put it in writing, it's very difficult for them to steal your ideas. But don't allow such leaders to make you not to contribute. If you're a very creative person, if you're someone that likes to take initiative, continue to take the initiative. Just ensure that you don't take the initiative without being approved. For example, you have an idea of a new thing to do. Don't go ahead and begin to implement it. Present it. Let them knock it down if they want, but present it first and ensure the presentation is in writing so that if they don't want it, there's no problem. You presented it, is on record. Okay, let me work. I think I saw some people join. Yes. What's happening? Okay. The comments is misbehaving. Anyway, I think I saw some people. I think I saw Krista Bell and Fidelia Sampson, I think. Yeah. And the double Tekere. All right. Yes, there you are. Thank you. Thank you for joining me this afternoon. I'm glad you chose to spend this time with me today. Okay. Okay, see, Coach Ibi say, yes, this particular leader does that a lot. At the end of the day, she uses your idea as her own. Most of them, truly, most of these people that you see that knock down all your initiatives, be careful because most times they are just knocking it so that you can, say, okay, well, no problem, you leave it. Tomorrow, they just tweak that your idea just a little and present it as their own. That is why it's important that you put it in writing so that it's there for the whole, anybody that cares to see will see that this was your idea. Don't allow that to make you stop coming up with ideas or taking up initiatives. No, just ensure that one, it is documented so that even when they want to steal, even as they are stealing, it is clear that this is your idea. Okay. All right, so we were talking about team building skills. See, that's why it's very important as a leader to be open. You have to be open in your communication. You have to be open in your dealings with your team members. Otherwise, you build teams that will not last. You build teams that have, seams that are already fraying. You build teams that are not strong, that at the slightest difficulty they fall apart. So encourage people to. That was I talked about using consensus. Let discussions happen. Let people bring up their ideas. If you must use, let's assume one of your team members brought up an idea that is so good, use it. It's allowed. You can use it, but still do give credit to the person. Don't just use it like that and you don't give credit to the person that came up with the idea. That does not reduce your leadership. I think that's one of the misconceptions. It does not reduce your leadership. Actually, for me, personally, if you're a team leader, that your team members are coming up with a lot of good ideas, it shows that you're encouraging them. It shows that you're what's the word I'm looking for now? You're helping your team to grow. I don't know why people feel that when those that they are leading are doing well, it shows that they are not doing well. It doesn't. It doesn't. That is just opposite. That is actually the opposite. When the people you are leading are doing well, it shows that you're a good leader. Shows that you're a good leader. If you're not a good leader, you can't encourage such progress, and you can't even bring out such progress from people. So please encourage those that you're leading to speak up, encourage them to give their ideas, encourage them to contribute, encourage them to be true part of the team. And let whatever comes out from the team be from the team. You don't have to take credit for it. You really do not. I remember one time, one place I worked, we had one thing we were trying to sort out, one accounting issue. And it was the young lady that was working with me that came up with such an innovative solution to that thing. And when she brought it to me and explained, I was like, wait, just cool down. You will teach me this thing properly. I sat with her. She explained it very, very well to me. The solution she came up with, how she felt this thing would happen. There and then I wrote the memo concerning it and I gave her full credit. Full credit. Why would I take the credit when they tell me to now do I can't? No. I gave her full credit. She was even shocked because I put her in copy in the email with which I sent the ideas to the MD. Then I put her in copy, and she was surprised because she was expecting me to, take the credit. Maybe that's what she was used to, but I did not. So what now happened going forward was that when we have issues that are along those lines, everybody knows she's the one. What is my business? You have taken away some work from me. Hey, thank you. Thank you. I have enough. I have enough. Thank you. So once things relating to that, bam, shift to her. Please handle this. Let me be handling the other ones. Now, yes, she became like a superstar in that area. But who is her madam? That she became a superstar, did it stop me from being her madam? No. Did it stop me from being the head of that department? No. What department is taking this credit? Mine. Mine. So, I don't know why people would see it the other way around. I really don't know why they see it the other way around. So give people their rightful credit. Okay, if he says that's right, give credit to them and motivate and appreciate everything for every contribution, every input. It truly makes them want to do more. Remember, the aim is for you to get loyalty, trust, loyalty from your team members. And if you're always stealing their ideas, how would that happen? It will not happen. So ensure that you appreciate people's actions, appreciate their ideas, give them their due credit. Honestly, give them their due credit. What we don't realize is that when you do this, truly, you get um, the acclaim comes back to you. Because who led this person? You. Who thought this person? You. Who encouraged this person? You. Not, so why would we not want to encourage people to do well? Okay, so please, let's learn to truly build teams that are strong, teams that are effective by giving people the opportunity to, be whoever they are. So I love teams, honestly. Me, maybe I'm different. I love teams where I have, different talents in the team. So that those areas that I am not very strong, they will strengthen it. They will. Just like this example I gave, that was like a computer something, almost like a program, but on Excel. I know that's not my strong suit. So, young lady, please, once we have such things, young lady, come, this is it, do it. And she will do it, and the credit goes to our team. Our team. Okay, if he says, what is the place of control in team building? I really don't like to use the word control in team building. I rather say influence. Because when you say control, it looks like you're dictating. In team building, you influence. You influence. You don't control people. You influence them. I said something that you get people to do what you want while feeling that they're doing what they want. That is influence. And that is the best thing you can do for your team. They're doing it thinking, oh, this is my, this is my idea. Oh, this is me. Well, ultimately, it is your aim that everyone is achieving. It is your goal that everyone is going towards. So you influence them. You influence people, and they do exactly what you wanted. But they're feeling like they're doing what they want. That's the aim of team building. That's the aim of leadership. It's not control. Who do you want? How do you even want to control people when our emotions and personalities are all over the place? How do you even want to do the control? It's best to influence people so that they are ready to go to bat for you. They are ready to stand for you at any point in time. And they won't even feel it like, oh, is this woman's thing or is this man's thing? They will look at it that is our. For example, this, going back to this same example I gave with that young lady, if I'm not going to be at work for any amount of time, she steps in fully. She steps in because not only did I encourage her to, come up with her own ideas, come up with solutions, I also put her through some of the things that I do. Of course, I'm not going to put her through everything. It's not even possible because the years of experience I have, she can't have it. She can't. It's not even possible. Because if she's adding 1 year, so am I. So she can never catch up to my experience. She can never catch up to all the knowledge I have. But as much as I could, I put into her. So she was the defender of our department, truly. In this particular experience, she was the defender of our department. In delicate issues where not only trust but precision comes in. And that you can, okay, so you're saying, how do you control what people do or what their output? I'm not sure I understand the question so that I don't answer the wrong question. If remember that I said that the you'll establish the rules, you'll establish the parameters, you establish the guidelines, you establish the norms from the beginning. There are norms, there are guidelines, there are expectations, there are standards. You establish those from the beginning, and you don't shift the goalpost as you're going. So from the beginning, there are rules. From the beginning, there are boundaries. Okay, there are boundaries, there are expectations, there are standards from the beginning. Just because we are now trying to influence people doesn't mean that there's no boundaries, there are no standards, there are no norms. They are there. And you don't say, if today the standard is this, you don't shift it tomorrow just like that, maybe because you want somebody to, be caught in it. No. There are standards, there are rules, there are norms, there are guidelines. They should be made known to everyone. They should be made known to everyone. I said that towards the beginning, when I was giving, I think, like the introduction or so. You have to make their guidelines. You have to have those. There are rules, there are values, there are goals for the team. Those have to be made known from the beginning. They're non-negotiables. They are non-negotiables. Even as you're being pally in quotes with your whole team members, they are non-negotiables. When somebody misbehaves, it should be dealt with. So if that's what you mean by control, it is essential. It is essential. It's not debatable. It's not even debatable. It's it's not debatable. There's even no debating it. There's no debating that. Those rules, though, they must be established from the beginning. Even as you're letting people know where we are going, you have to let them know how you intend to get there. The guidelines, the norms, the standards, they are stated from the beginning. Yes, they're not negotiable. No, those ones exist. Even as you're also trying to influence people to do what you want, the non-negotiables exist. They are there. You can't begin to be shifting goalposts. No, no, they exist. They are there. Okay. So we have gone far above our time today. We're talking about team building skills in leadership today. And we mentioned quite a lot of things. We talked about, knowing your team personally, your team members, understanding what is their expectations, knowing them beyond just the work. because it will help you in being able to influence them. Your aim as the leader is to influence your team, is to get loyalty out of your team, is to get them to be able to do things without feeling forced, to get them to, in fact, take up the front lines, stand in the front lines and fight the battle and fight the war without feeling like they are being made to do it. So it's being able to influence your team and delegating to them, giving them problems to solve, allowing them to grow truly um, in the team, and but at the same time maintaining the rules, maintaining the guidelines, maintaining the standards. Those ones are not negotiable. They're not even up for discussion. They're not up for discussion. Okay, using consensus. We talked about using consensus, ensuring that um, everyone feels a part of the team. Don't discountenance people's ideas. Don't also steal people's ideas and call them your own. No. As a leader, you must delegate, you must motivate your team, you must practice leadership, you must lead people and influence what they do or how they do what they do. Okay, I think we have come to the end of today's discussion. Let me see if there's any. I think that's quite one. Okay, we talked about communication, so communicating and getting your point across to your team members. Okay, with that, we come to the end of today's session. I apologize. We've actually gone way over time today, a whole 12 minutes over time. Thank you, each and every one of you, for joining me this afternoon. I appreciate your time. I appreciate the fact that you take out this time to come and discuss with me. Thank you once again. Remember to follow us on all our social media handles: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Growth Habits with Ngozi, in all of those places. Thank you all once again. I truly appreciate each and every one of you. Those that watch the replay, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you. And I'm trying to, next week, I don't know, we will talk about motivation or coaching and mentoring. I'm not yet sure. Then probably we'll begin to draw a close on these conversations on leadership. I think we really need to draw this particular conversation to a close and then move on to something else. Remember to get our book, Unleash Your Best Self. I believe the link should be showing as you connect to this live session. I want to believe that the link shows. If not, I'll still post the link afterwards. Get it on Seller, get it on Amazon. You can get the accompanying journal also, or just the prompt, the book that has the prompts. Thank you all so much for joining me today. Remember to make today and every day count. Be valuable in all that you do and ensure that you are growing. Never stay stagnant. Ensure that you are growing daily. Thank you all so much for joining me, and see you next week, Tuesday, right here on Facebook Live. 12 noon is the time. This is Growth Habits with Ngozi. Have an awesome day. Bye.